Normally the Fringe were 9 to 5, but it's 9 till 9, isn't it, everyone? And here we are at 10 o'clock on that. Could I have a little bit more light on the audience? Because it's more a party than a show. It would be nice to be able to see people's faces. Anyway, here we are at 10 o'clock in the morning on the last Friday of the Fringe, and I think we should all give ourselves a cheer for being here and for making that. Welcome to the Scotsman Fringe Awards 2026, which includes, of course, the last round of our own Scotsman Fringe First Awards, but also many other awards which are going to be shared with you today. Both their wonderful short lists, in some cases long lists, and the winners of all of those awards. So we're looking forward to that very, very much. As we start this last awards ceremony of 2026, of course, we have big thank yous to make. And the first thank you, as always, goes to the wonderful team here at the Pleasance who host our Fringe Awards. They're absolutely fantastic. They run a huge programme here, and they are a fantastic team. So to Anthony and everyone here at the Pleasance, huge thanks, always. We also need to thank our sponsors this year, Queen Margaret University, a wonderful university in the Edinburgh area, which teaches theatre and has been great sponsors for us for the last few years. Paul Grice and the team there, and many of you here in the audience may even have been students there. I think a quick round of applause for them, because without them, no Fringe First this year. Now, as you know, we always have a guest star to help us present the Fringe Firsts. And this year, it's one of this year's winners from an earlier part of the festival. So she's very much part of the community of thespians here at the Edinburgh Fringe 2026. She is, though, an amazing woman. She was a teenage pop star in the 1990s. That crashed and burned a bit. She then launched an amazing band. Well, we were just singing Dolly together out the back there, you know, so. She then launched an amazing band, late 90s, called Swelling Meg, which was one of the great stars of the great Arches. Remember the Arches venue in Glasgow? Great period of Scottish theatre. Then she later became theatre producer, director, writer, and inspirer of amazing shows, starting with Roadkill here, I think in 2009, a fantastic site-specific show about people trafficking, which those who saw it never forgot. And then moving on to inspirational shows in Scottish theatre, like The Glasgow Girls and her current show, The Singer, which is on at the Traverse. I'd like you to welcome Cora Bissett. Good morning, Cora.
Good morning.
Well, how are you after your run on this year's Fringe?
I'm good, although I'm feeling that everyone's probably very disappointed when they heard there was someone, a teenage pop star, and they're like, oh, it's just Cora Bissett. Is that it?
She was, though.
No, I'm feeling really good. We've had a wonderful run with The Singer. The guys are just fleeing. It's that sweet spot when all the work does pay off and your show lands and people are really enjoying it, and it's happy days at the moment.
When were you first at the Fringe, Cora? What does it mean to you, and what has it been for your career as a Scottish theatre maker?
I was thinking right back. My mum used to bring us through from Glenrothes, and she never actually took us to shows, but she'd say, well, just go and soak up a bit of the atmosphere, girls. Soak up the atmosphere. And it was that brilliant, that vibe that became very infectious, and I thought, I want to be part of this. Yeah. And I think I was 18. The very first show I did was Linnaeus, Prince of Flowers. Do you remember this? At one of Fringe
First?
Was
in the Botanics.
Gardens. Toby Goff,
Yes, Toby Goff.
Yeah.
His brother Sam now runs something.
That's right. So I'd not been to drama school. I didn't know a thing. I was running around in the Botanics with a punky blue hair, getting chased by some very tall, posh lads with giant, oversized books that were trying to classify the flowers in the garden. And I feel it was a bit of a premonition for my career, trying to run away from posh lads trying to classify me.
Well, listen, we've got a lot to get through today, Cora, so shall we start? All about the Fringe First winners first. Our final week list of Fringe First winners is a fantastic one. I've got to get out my bit of paper here, so I'm absolutely sure I don't forget anyone, but it is a fantastic list, and it begins with a show which is, what's the word? There's a slight beautiful eccentricity about it. This show is Adam Rich's The Captain, which is a tale about Matthew Webb, the man who was the first ever to swim the English Channel back in the 1870s. He was Captain Webb, he was Matthew Webb, he became famous for his feat in swimming the Channel. But Adam Rich's show at Summerhall is an absolute model of a beautifully written and performed one-man show. Of course, there are plenty of solo shows on the Fringe, but I've rarely seen one that tells a story about what it is to strive for something, what it is that enables people to achieve the impossible, and so on. A show that is absolutely beautifully told in a way that is not only verbal and well-written, but wonderfully kinetic. I mean, to see an audience for a solo show within about a minute of it starting, thanks to the charm and brilliance of the performer, actually all going pull, what was it? Pull, breathe, kick, glide, which is how you do a breaststroke, which is the stroke that Matthew Webb mainly used to call the Channel. Whole audience doing it, then all the other strokes, butterfly, freestyle, blah, blah, blah. Absolutely fantastic. And also the way he uses the little space of the Anatomy Lecture Theatre at Summerhall is, he just completely possesses and owns it. An absolutely wonderful solo show among many great solo shows this year. So please, Adam Riches and the team, come up to accept your award for Adam Rich's The Captain.
Thank you. That's lovely. Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Do you want to say a few words?
Am I allowed to?
Yes, of course.
I wrote
yes,
something down.
The full outro, as long as you keep it brief.
Okay. Do you mind if I just... Is that okay? I'll do that, yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've written a few things down, and I will be quick, because I am on stage in about 5 minutes' time. So I will... I'm on today. So thank you so much for this. The people I'd like to thank are sort of in chronological order, really, in terms of the show's trajectory and how it kind of came about. The first is Tom Forster over at Summerhall, who was very, very supportive of me when I took my first show up here a couple of years ago, Jimmy, about Jimmy Connors. And it was halfway through that run that I mentioned to him that I wanted to do this show. And I said, what are the chances of us closing down and hiring the Commonwealth pool for a month so that I could tell the story in the water? And he said, nothing's impossible, Adam, nothing's impossible. And then a week later offered me the anatomy room at Summerhall instead. Park Theatre, who I'd like to thank, who are the co-producers of the show, who showed great interest in it. And there was a real serendipitous moment because the artistic director, when he was a child, was all set to swim the Channel himself. And unfortunately was ill on the morning of it, and so couldn't make it. So I think there was a strange sort of catharsis for him involved in helping produce this show. And if you've seen the show, it really is a strange catharsis if you got something from that. Tom Parry, who is here with me today, who is the director and the dramaturg of a lot of shows that I've done over the last few years. And he's brilliantly instinctive and has got a great gift for a storytelling quirk that can just elevate the work. And he is the director of a lot of shows that a lot of you will have seen here without knowing that Tom was behind them, but in comedy, in magic, and in theatre. So he is very much a bit of an unsung hero, but no more. So thank you, Tom, for all your help on that. My tortoise, I'd quickly like to thank, because yes, I share an office with my tortoise, and when I was running my lines, she'd follow me around the room trying to nip my toes. So there's never a greater incentive to get off book than that. Friends and family who saw early drafts and gave me confidence and kind of encouragement. Jim Johnson, who did the music for the show that was so inspirational that I cut it a month before we came up. No shade on Jim. My technicians, Damien and Tim, who do very little in the show, but what they do with an invoice. The team at Multitude Media, the team at Summerhall, the crew at Summerhall, who've just been wonderful over the month. Audiences that have come, seen it, and enjoyed the story. The Scotsman, who came to see it and obviously put me forward for this, which is wonderful because in the other show that I do up here, a comedy show, I play a comedy reviewer who absolutely hammers the Scotsman all the way through the show. So thank you for not coming to see that one, which is great. My wife for giving me like just unwavering support and belief as I've stepped from comedy into theatre, which is a world of which those two streams shouldn't cross. And finally, my dog, who will be waiting for me when I get back home after this month-long odyssey. So thank you to all of those people. Sorry I took so long. Thank you very much. Sorry about that.
Oh, wonderful. He's so tall and I'm so little. Right, complete change of mood and pace here. A show from the National Theatre of Scotland, staged in the main foyer of the Scottish Parliament, which is as much an installation as a show, as much an audio drama as an installation, but where we, the audience ourselves, as we make our way through the installation, the show, which is a series of small rooms beautifully designed and put together by Karen Tennant, lighting designer Kai Fisher, sound designer Niroshini Thambar. This is a show about, based on, and written up from the experience of a large group of care-experienced adults in Scotland who have been working with the National Theatre of Scotland over the last 3 years in a project called Caring Scotland to try to identify what it is that's wrong with our care system here in Scotland and to tell that story in ways that will make the whole experience of being in care much more accessible to the wider community. If ever there was a way of tackling this theme that had that effect of spreading this kind of information, this knowledge, or this deep knowledge of what that experience of being bumped from pillar to post, moved from room to room, sat down in offices with piles of forms, having to repeat the same story over and over again, and seeing yourself in some very weird reflecting mirrors. If ever there was a show, a piece of work, which fulfilled that mission to communicate what it's like to be a young person in care, then 100 Voices at the Scottish Parliament is that show. The lead artist was Nicola McCartney, supported by a huge team, and of course by all of the people who contributed their stories to making up this show. So please, the team from 100 Voices, come and accept your Fringe Fest. Nicola. Thank you.
Well, yes, come up. Thank you. Thank you so much for this award. I've won Fringe First before. I've been honoured enough, but this is really special. So because of what this is about, this project, 100 Voices, is the end of a big 3-year project called Caring Scotland. So I have some thanks, and I promise I'm going to rattle through them quickly. So the first is the National Theatre of Scotland. First actually to all of the critics who engaged with this so beautifully and sensitively, and to all the audiences who've come, because it's really different. If you haven't come, it's on tour. Come and see it on tour. But I want to thank the National Theatre of Scotland, especially the creative engagement team, for allowing me to make the work I wanted to work in the work I wanted to make in the way I wanted to make it on this subject. Thank you to Paul Fitzpatrick, who first came to me and approached me to make this work. I'm standing here with I would call them co-authors, so Karen Tennant, who is an ingenious designer, Niroshini Thambar, who designed the sound. We haven't got Kai Fisher with us, who did the lights. And this is Chris, the photographer. You see his exhibition of work, portraits of care experienced people, when you come out of the installation. So I want to thank all of them, all of the artists who listened to the stories, and the 102 care experienced people who told their stories to us, because it's their stories that you're listening to the whole way through. I also want to thank National Library of Scotland, where the archive of stories sits. Please go and listen to just one story in that archive, or on our website on the National Theatre of Scotland, to Who Cares Scotland and to Heritage Lottery Fund for supporting the project and being our partners. And lastly, this project comes from rage. I was a foster carer for a local authority in Scotland for 16 years. I've watched firsthand young people's lives destroyed by what we're doing and how we're neglecting care experienced children and adults in Scotland. There's something called the Promise. The Scottish Government promised by 2030 to fix Scotland's broken system. They haven't done it yet. We're partly there. There's been an act of Parliament, and there's a pathway to make that happen. We need to get onto our parliamentarians and pressure them and tell them we want it fixed for the good of us all. Thank you all very much.
Great. And from one very tough and intractable social issue to another now, the shocking and deep question of what online communications and online pornography are doing to our deepest inner emotional, sexual lives at the moment. Fantastically powerful monologue, Slayers, by Corinne Salisbury, is playing at the Assembly George Square Studios in an absolutely heart-stopping performance by Zoe Hunter. And its subject is the rage, the sort of final rage, you know, after years of putting up with things, making the best of things, saying not all men to themselves, but the rage of women who have just had enough of the horrible language used about them online, of the horrible culture of sort of shame posting any sexual material that they happen to have created for people that they thought they could trust, which ends up with a much wider public, and with all the other sort of petty, sort of mini aggressions that women suffer from men who just approach them when they shouldn't, who bother them when they really have no right to, and so on. And this is beautifully about how a kind of normal single mum in Edinburgh finally becomes overwhelmed by that rage, and with some friends of hers decides to take action with, of course, very complicated consequences, not least for her little daughter Molly, who is about 10, so just growing up to be a woman in this very, very difficult and strange environment full of betrayal, because, you know, a lot of people that you think you can trust secretly are into this kind of material, sadly. And it raises huge questions about whether the internet, which we often blame for this, is just exposing something that was always there, or whether it's actually encouraging the hateful attitudes that some people now display, the horrible misogyny, and so on. So it's a very powerful and very taxing monologue. It's winning an immensely emotional response from audiences at George Square Studios, where it only opened last week, and yet is already in that short span made a very huge impact. So I'd like the whole team from Slayers, or however many of you are here, to come up and accept the award for this exceptionally powerful and timely monologue. That's Corinne, the writer, Zoe, who performs it so magnificently, and Jo Rush, the director, if she's here. Cora. Thank you. Thank you for the fantastic thing. Wonderful. Woof.
Thank you so much. This is a truly ridiculous honour. I'm Corinne. I'm the writer and producer of Slayers. I want to thank the people who've helped this play along the way, including Becky Hope-Palmer and Imogen and the team at Summerhall, who hosted the initial scratch that started this journey. Thank you to all the organisations that gave us free rehearsal space and lent us kit. This show is so fringe, and we have really just scraped and hustled it into existence against many odds with few resources and not much time, and so for that, as well as everything else, we're just pinching ourselves right now. Thank you most of all to my amazing director, Jo Rush, and my incredible performer, Zoe Hunter. Both of your talent, your bone-deep commitment, and your boundless enthusiasm for this project is just more than I ever could have hoped for. Words cannot express what it has meant to me to work with you. Thank you to the rest of my amazing team, our production manager, lighting designer, Laura Hawkins, who did such a great job bringing it all together, our technical stage manager, Tom Showell, who is there for us every day, unfailing, unflappable, and our sound designer, Nicolette MacLeod, who can't be here right now. Joe, Zoe and I are all working mothers. We have 7 kids between us. I begged a mum friend to pick up my kids from school at lunchtime today so I could stay for this whole do. Later today I'll be doing another knit treatment on my 5-year-old's hair. The juggle is real, not just the practical juggle, but the emotional juggle that we go through as mums, all mums of preteen daughters, as it happens, as we just try to contain our fears for what might be coming down the line for our daughters when they hit their teenage years. It's something that we really have thought and talked about a lot on this project, that we think about every day, that we have to carry with us and hold in and try and figure out what to do with this fear and this anger. And I wrote this play partly as a way of helping other people understand every aspect of that juggle. And you know, it's felt sometimes like we are really not supposed to be here, that people cannot commute us being at the Fringe as working mums who cannot, you know, go to all the events and network and schmooze and flyer for hours and all the things that might, you know, help to get attention or help us feel like we were a success. And you know, so trying to get on people's radars with the resources that we have has been a challenge. But then, you know, to be here and to know that this play has had an impact and it has, you know, we have created something that has mattered to people. Thanks to the Scotsman for, you know, allowing us to rise above the noise and to be rewarded in this way means an incredible amount. Means the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What a start. Fantastic, absolutely amazing performance there and a wonderful script to work with, of course. Another complete change of pace now because we're going to a show that starts with a ceilidh, and despite the very serious subjects that it tackles, also aims, I think, to spread some joy in this Fringe. And the show is Tether by the Scottish-based, Glasgow-based company Wonderfools, which is playing at the main hall in Summerhall, which is itself a ceilidh place. People have ceilidhs there all the time, every week, during the rest of the year. So it has that atmosphere and fits the beginning and the other sort of party sequences in the show absolutely perfectly. Wonderfools are a hugely enterprising young company in Scotland who are involved in many very interesting projects. And this show is the result of a real act of international collaboration, which actually began on this Fringe when someone from South Korea saw one of their previous shows, and a real artistic relationship and bond began to grow up between Wonderfools and particularly a company called Theatre San in South Korea. And the show Tether that they're presenting this year is the result of that really warm collaboration and relationship. And what they've done is incredibly ambitiously, over a long time span of more than a century, have looked at moments where the stories of Scotland and South Korea have touched one another. Like in the moment just after the First World War when Christianity was spreading very rapidly in South Korea, and many Scottish missionaries went there at that time, and South Koreans came back here because of that relationship. Then the Korean War of the 1950s, and then the very different atmosphere of the 1970s, when people from the Pacific began to become more and more interested in studying and investigating the folk traditions of the British Isles, including the Scottish ones. So the story bridges all of these periods and is performed in 2 languages, or more than 2 really, you know, in the languages of Scotland and different tones of South Korean, by a wonderful company of both Scottish and South Korean actors. The writers are Robbie Gordon and Jack Nurse of Wonderfools and Yoon Jung Hwan of Theatre San. And we're delighted to welcome them to accept their Fringe First for Tether. Robbie. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Robbie, oh, he's going up to the mic. Oh, here we go.
In the true spirit of collaboration, we're all going to say a wee bit.
Yeah.
A wee bit.
Yes, I'm so nervous. Please understand. Hello everyone. I'm Min Jin Hong, as a producer for the Tether. So we are so happy and so honored to receive the Fringe First Awards. Thank you so much. And I am Robbie Jack. So we first met 2 years ago, and since then, so we have shared our stories and cultures and ideas this between the Korea and Scotland. We're starting from the song is which one is Arirang and Old Sign, and then so we found there's a real connection with Scotland and Korea and universal. So Tether was created through this journey all together. And for me, so the most special part was not only making this project, but also meeting these wonderful people and building the real connection. Thank you, and pass on the Robbie.
I'm going to keep this really brief, but I grew up 15 minutes down the road in a town called Preston Pans, and my granddad and my gran used to take me up to the Edinburgh Festival, and they describe a wee boy just filled with wonder at the culture and the change in the city. My granddad also tells a story about a man with a cornflake box on his head singing Ave Maria. He followed up with his sort of famous catchphrase, which is, away and work. Little did he know that I'd be working in this industry years later, and I'd get to meet the amazing Jack Nurse, and based on 10 years of friendship and a shared belief that high-quality art should be for everyone, that is what Wonderfuls is. We believe in working with communities and professional artists to create our work. We've worked with care experienced young people, we've worked with people with dementia, we've even worked with a homeless women's Scottish football team. I'll tell you that story later. But we waited for the right moment to come to the Fringe. We brought a show called Oran and a show called Same Team at the same time, and that was the launch pad to which we met these phenomenal South Korean artists. There's a wee quote from a previous one of our shows that someone from the Spanish Civil War said, that we don't fight for medals, we fight for our beliefs. But the medal this time is actually quite nice as well, so thank you so much.
I'm just going to really quickly just run through some thank yous from the whole team. For every one of our shows, it always takes a village. In this instance, it took 2 countries. So I'm just going to make sure everyone gets a shout out. So thank you so much to the cast and team that you see on stage with us, but also the cast from the previous developments, both Korean and Scottish actors who've been involved the whole way. We also, for anyone who's seen the show, music is an essential character, so just want to do a special shout out to the musicians, Stuart Ramage, the composer, and David, Rachel, Gregor, Duncan and Lewis. There's 2 MVPs of the process I just want to quickly shout out to. One is Sophia, the translator, who not only translates the process and the communication between the 2 teams in the workplace, but also the social settings in pubs and restaurants, and the captions in the show as well, Sophia runs. And also our brilliant creative assistant, Morgan Ferguson, who is just the most brilliant support of everything we do, from running the workshops in communities for this process, to flyering outside the show, to working with us artistically in the room. So thank you, Morgan and Sophia. Thank you, Michelle Mangan, the brilliant PR team with Michelle. Thank you to all our funders, including Creative Scotland, British Council, and specifically the Momentum programme in the first place, who introduced us 2 years ago. Thank you so much for all the brilliant work you do in introducing us to Minjin, Nami and Theatre San. Everyone at Wonderfuls, we've got such a small team who do such incredible things, so thank you to them. Thank you to Robbie on a personal level, who I couldn't do this without. And thank you Summer Hall, who not only programmed the show this year, but also supported us in the development with a work in progress in the main hall, the Cayley Place, last September, which was instrumental in developing the show with audiences. And thank you to Joyce and the panel for this incredible honour. Thank you so much. Cheers.
absolutely beautiful performances in that show. Now, we're going to finish with two solo performances which do precisely what Fringe shows on this festival can do so brilliantly, and that is speak to us about the moment we are living in the most imaginative and brilliant way. In different ways, all of the shows that we honour do that, of course, but these two tackle some of the toughest issues of our times, not sideways, not through poetry, not through dance, but head on. And they're both very courageous pieces of work. At the Traverse at the Lyceum Studio, so just across the road from the Traverse, but presented by them, there is Little Animals, co-produced by Fern Culture and Pentabus, and written and performed by Paul Reddy, a well-known actor, of course, from television series ranging from The Bodyguard to Motherland to, really timely and contemporary television dramas in which people are used to seeing him. But here he is telling a story of his own about the relationship between the man who's speaking to us and his friend, Richard. Richard has recently died. He's died in a drowning accident. And our speaker, our narrator, who is really, is he Paul or does he have another name? I think it's James. Anyway, he is speaking to us about this friend and about how their relationship has gone since Richard became so deeply concerned about the environmental crisis into which we're all heading and the climate collapse, which we can see increasing evidence of around us. He became so concerned about that he just could no longer pretend to live the kind of normal life that Paul or James lives. So this character is increasingly at odds with his friend. I mean, he loves him, he understands his concerns. I think he particularly appreciates his very warm relationship with his own little daughter, because, he says, we're not doing enough, are we, for the younger generation, for the generation that she is. And this, again, is a girl who's sort of between 7 and 12 during the years that this story covers. After Richard's death, this solo show is a kind of really agonizing assessment of what it was that perhaps drove Richard to his death, because it looks as if it may have been a suicide, and how our society reacts to the people who just can no longer pretend that business as usual is possible. At one level, we all, including the narrator of this show, know that business as usual is no longer possible, but acting on it, acting on that knowledge, is incredibly difficult given the systems in which we all work. And that's what this show is about. It's 70 minutes long. It couldn't be presented in a simpler way. There's a man in a suit, because this is a memorial event for his friend, holding a bottle of water. There's a circle of people in the most ancient form of kind of storytelling gathering, sitting around him, listening to this story of his friend and himself and what their recent relationship means. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'd like to welcome Paul Reddy and all of his team to accept the award for Little Animals.
So much. Thank you. Gosh, the way you describe that, it makes me really want to see it. So I've never won anything in my life, apart from a raffle when I was about 10, and I won 5 teddy bears. They were mainly polyester, highly flammable. So this is... thanks for this. This is a first. Thank you. It is a first. This is... thank you, the Scotsman. There's lots of people to thank. I'll be very quick. I want to say, I started writing this about 4 years ago. I started developing with my oldest friend, my childhood friend, Laura Collier, who used to work at the Traverse Theatre. So it's amazing that the Traverse took it on. And obviously the people that got it here, Fern Culture, Amber Massey-Blomfield here, and El Weil from Pentabus, and the Gulbenkian. I said it. I thought I was going to get that wrong. And then, of course, the director, Caroline Steinbeiss, who took this on, and we worked together over years, just doing it in small venues. Developing it in, like, I performed it in a shopping centre, in a bookshop, just to see how it goes, because I designed it so it could be done anywhere. So no props, no lighting, no music or anything like that. And the idea is to take it to places and be very kind of vulnerable with an audience, and we're all in a shared light, because we're all together in the face of this climate crisis, and what do we do? Anybody else to thank? Anyway, thanks. I just need to thank myself for there is Michelle Terry, who is my wife, who's an incredible creator, and just the whole thing about storytelling, and how like in our polarized world, it feels so polarized, and I feel like it's a bolder and bolder thing to come together, audience, storytellers, to be together in community and tell stories, and maybe we learn we're not all assholes. Anyway, thanks so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, our final Fringe First award for today goes to a show that I think has been pretty much loved and embraced by almost everyone who saw it. Obviously, some people will be slightly put on edge by it because it's so powerful, but it is a fantastic show playing in the notoriously sweaty gents' locker room at Summerhall, and it's Hannah Maxwell's Turn Your Fucking Phones Off, or F2 stars, Phones Off. And it's a good, funny title. It gets a laugh, but it's actually a pretty, it's an incredibly witty show. It's as anyone who has ever seen any of Hannah Maxwell's work knows, she's a tremendously entertaining solo theatre maker. She knows how to entertain an audience. During the course of the performance I saw, which came after the sad news about Dolly Parton, she had the entire audience singing Islands in the Stream in 2 parts in a kind of 2-minute sequence while she changed her costume. I mean, it's very theatrical and very entertaining and very, very witty, but the subject of it is deadly serious, which, looking back to Slayers and some of the other very strong shows that we've seen in this year's Fringe, is about what the power of the internet is doing, not just to our deepest minds, as in Slayers, but to our politics, to the whole global environment in which we are living. You know, what's happening that we suddenly have so many countries, so many communities paralyzed by these polarizing 50-50 splits over something. And that something can range from, I don't know, Scottish independence to do you believe that trans people are a bad thing? You know, it's as polarized as that over a whole load of issues. And of course, when communities can't achieve any kind of consensus, they are paralyzed. They can do nothing as a collective. And who triumphs when the collective fails? The people who have the big money and the big wealth and the big power to try and shape our whole reality for us through this internet that we now have. The things we believe, the things we get to see, the things we get to understand. We all know how the algorithms are working on us now. So Hannah's solution is to spend, of course, less time on your phone, but sadly that's not the only solution that faces us now. We are facing a huge epochal, really, political challenge in terms of the way politics has changed in the last 20 years with the coming of the internet and with some of the actors, bad actors, dark actors, who are manipulating that power and that potential that the internet has, and who have been faster to understand it, sadly, than those who would like to use it for beneficial purposes. So this is a funny, entertaining show, a personal story, but also a political analysis that we need and which we all need to think about as we move forward into the next years. Congratulations, Hannah Maxwell, on Turn Your Fucking Phones Off, and please come and accept the award. comes. Oh, what a show.
Oh, thank you so much.
My goodness, well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Joyce was really holding the harmony lines in Islands in the Stream. It was very impressive. You were, you were. I've just got a few things to say. That's not going to help me. I haven't really written anything down, and when I was practicing this in my head on the bus on the way here, I thought I would already be holding the award. So, wow. Oh, it's happening, it's real. Oh my God, oh no, I wish you hadn't given it to me now, because seeing my name is going to do something. Hannah Maxwell, writer Hannah Maxwell. Yes, those things are true. Hello. Sorry, this is exponentially more people than I'm used to talking to. Lots of people to thank, which I'll do now before I get a bit moved. Thank you so much to Waterside Arts in Sale for commissioning this, Queen Mary University and the Front Room in Weston-super-Mare for the rehearsal space, and of course the team at Summer Hall Arts, Tom Foster and Sam Goffin in particular, for all of their support, and young Ben, who's been opping our new shows in the main hall at night with very minimal practice, and he's been doing an amazing job. The team who've helped me make it have had a wonderful squad of dramaturgs who have been sort of keeping the guardrails on. Nick Kassenbaum, Annie Siddons, Rachel Mars, and a smattering of Ursula Martinez. My design team, Alan Freiberger and Casey J. Andrews, who helped to make the phone box. Ray Gammon and Moya Hansen, who did the costume. And Lawrence Cole, who did amazing work on the music. And a big special thanks also to Becky Plotnick as well, who's been keeping me sane throughout this. But I'd like to give a big special shout out to my main designer and composer and operator, production manager, rock and work wife, the incredible Benji Huntrods, who deserves a big round of applause because he's an absolute legend. I really, really wanted one of these. And I can tell you a big sob story about... Sorry, are you telling me someone to thank? It was like you were just talking amongst yourselves. I think maybe I think Joyce is muttering under her breath and it's throwing me off. Get off, wrap it up. I could tell you a big sob story about flying in the rain and performing to 2 people and cancelling shows due to total lack of interest and driving a Peugeot 206 with no windscreen wipers around all the village halls on rural tours. But I've already done that in the form of Baby Flea Reindeer Bag last year, so you don't need to hear it all again. The response to this show has been absolutely incredible. I knew I was tapping into something that a lot of people were thinking about, but everyone's individual experiences and the things that they want to come up and talk about after the show are really intense and moving. And it's heartwarming in a lot of ways that everyone's thinking about this, but has maybe been feeling a little bit isolated or sort of siloed, like we don't really have much agency, or like it's impossible to imagine another way of these things working. But I think where things can start to be imagined is in arts and storytelling. One of my favourite responses actually was something Natasha Tripney wrote about it, where she pointed out that the Edinburgh Fringe is its own kind of digital detox experience, as it's an occasion where we're all turning our phones off multiple times a day to go and be in rooms with people and have live, real experiences with strangers. And then we often forget to turn them back on when we come out because we're so blown away by what we've seen. And we'll be sat on a picnic table and strike up a conversation with strangers about what they thought about that and what they recommend, what they don't recommend. And that's something magical about this festival, and I hope it's something we can all take onwards when we go back to reality in a week. Thank you so much.
Well, that's a good point, isn't it? And actually echoed every night when you go to an official festival show, the Edinburgh International Festival, by the wonderful voice of Nicola Benedetti, telling everyone to switch their phones off and tune into a live experience. She's very, very into that whole business of trying to step away from the virtual world for a moment and really step into it all. So Cora, how was that for you? Great bunch of winners, eh?
Absolutely wonderful. I've caught some of those shows. I saw Slayers. It was absolutely phenomenal. I always get my top tips here, so I'm hoping I can catch more before the end of the run. It's phenomenal, and I think just the power of us all as storytellers right now. I think the fact that you, the Scotsman, these awards really celebrate that and celebrate the boldness and the audacity and kind of just mark and really note the people that are really trying to say something and speak to now. And whether you do that through humour, through experimentation, whatever form you're doing it in, I think these awards are a very broad church of welcoming and encouraging and supporting that, and just really, giving us that stamp that it's worth it. The slog is worth it. We're saying something that seems to really land and matter, and we must continue to do so in these dark times. So thank you for giving us as artists that encouragement, that continual validation, and we shouldn't be obsessed with awards, of course, but it is lovely. It is lovely when there's 10,000 shows to choose from, when the Scotsman notes yours as one. It does matter, and it does land.
It's such an ephemeral event and art form. It's lovely just to encapsulate it in something that lasts.
It is. So
thank you so much, Cora. A joy to have you.
Thank you so much.
And now we have a bit of a real treat for you. In the first week, we gave a Fringe First Award, not for the first time, it has to be said, to the magnificent New York artists who have this year created a show called, wait a minute, what's it called? Bigfoot Ripped My Dog in Half, I Saw It. Which is also playing in the main hall at Summer Hall. And it's a fabulous show about one of the huge themes of Edinburgh this year, not just the Fringe, but the official festival, examining 250 years of the United States and where that great country stands now. Chloe and Natasha's perspective on this, of course, is always a bit oblique, and they've analysed it through many, many kind of odd instances, like 50s domesticity and a rodeo that goes sadly wrong, and various other comments of great brilliance on American culture. But this one is how misinformation and disinformation spreads in a community. So again, hugely timely for the moment we're living in, even though it's set in the 1990s. So in order to give you all a flavour of that, here come Chloe and Natasha, two of the most exciting physical, intellectual and verbal performers of the Fringe in recent years. And here they are to present us an extract from Bigfoot Ripped My Dog in Half, I Saw It. Chloe and Natasha.
Bigfoot tore my mailbox down.
How do you figure that?
Well, of course I thought it was some of them kids.
Right.
But then I saw that footprint.
Footprint? Something would have to be mighty big to leave a footprint that deep in frozen ground.
Right. You that cop that lost his wife in the...
Bigfoot like fucked up our bike.
Fucked it up.
It's like all mangled.
Totally mangled.
And that's like our only bike.
Our only...
Loud and clear. You boys mentioned claw marks?
Straight through the tires.
Through the tires.
And where'd you say you found it?
drop.
I feel like something would have to be mighty tall to get a bicycle 15 feet up a sugar maple. I think that's a red oak. Yeah, red oak. And what's that smell? You said 80 pounds. I thought it was concrete. Fuck. Why does he have a stone bird bath? Fuck. Okay. Plan B, look for roadkill. Gross. What am I looking at? You radio for a dead bird? It's a thaw-wet owl. You saw a wet owl? No, sir. What the hell happened to it? It's dead. I can see it's dead. It was in the mayor's bird bath. That's how it got wet. It's dry, sir. You said you saw it wet? Thaw wet, sir. W-H-E-T, sir. Now wait just a damn minute. The species. How does smashed up bird end up in a bird bath? I was thinking maybe some sort of civil protest. I'll take it from here. No! Take him to evidence. I gotta make some calls.
Brighton Fringe Theatre Award, that's it. We have the Brighton Fringe Theatre Award, which every year picks a show or shows from this Edinburgh Fringe to go to the Brighton Fringe next year and to have a further life. I'd like you to welcome Richard Jordan, the patron of the Brighton Fringe, along with Laura Alton and Megan McAvoy of the Brighton Fringe.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. I'm Richard.
I'm Megan.
Laura's feeling a little unwell, so unfortunately we've gone from a trio to a duo. This award came sort of about over a decade ago about trying to build a relationship that was closer between Edinburgh and Brighton. Brighton's the third largest fringe in the world, largest in England. And I've been thinking a lot, actually, Megan, and as I was going through the Fringe and through this year about invisible handshakes. And the way that an invisible handshake connects from the stage and it reaches out, all of us in this room have connected in some way through an invisible handshake, through an exchange that happened, whether it made us become an enthusiastic audience member or it made that connection that from audience member made us also want to go on and work in theatre. And the connections within that often sit so strongly at the Fringe. They sit so much rooted in the first connection that so many people make to theatre. And I think that's been reflected so much this year in a lot of the nominations and the awards, and also the feeling that Fringe really, at this time, with all the challenges and stuff that's going on in the world, and also the dose of well-being that it annually affords, which really should be given out on prescription, actually has been probably more important than it ever has been. And Brighton sits in May. It's a fringe which plays through from the start of May. It's an open access fringe. If you've never been before, I hope you come down to the seaside, come and visit us, see some of the work that we're putting on. There's lots of friends from Edinburgh that will be down there if you do come down. Is there anything else we want to say about Brighton except I think we've hit the so let's get on with the nominations. There's quite a lot of them. It's a reflection of the fact that this is, I think, the biggest fringe ever. I think there's over 4,200 shows here playing this year. And the award itself recognises across all art forms. And we were really keen to make sure that's reflected in this year's award. So congratulations to all the nominations. We're going to read them out and then give everyone a big round of applause at the end of those.
Thank you, Richard. So if the winner can come down and collect their award, but the runners-up will find each other at the end. So the runner-up is going to receive some Brighton Rock, which is much coveted, of course. You can only get it there. And also a bottle of fizz, as well as your incredible certificate. I made them myself. And then the winner is going to also receive a fantastic certificate, I think the best thing of all. Also some fizz, free registration to Brighton Fringe 2027, and support with marketing and production costs as well. So bear with me while I read our fabulous nominees. So we have Ham, Bigfoot ripped my dog in half, I saw it. Trans people are awful. Dracula, Lucy's Dream. Nuns, Capitalism, 3 gays try to fix the economy. Pink Rabbit, Man or Bear, Parasocial Activity, OnlyFans for Therapy, Tiny Planet, Man Sings the Same Song over and over again for an hour, Laughing Out Lonely, Olga Cock, Fat Tom Cruise, Mega Squirt Fully Loaded, Bog Witch, Around the World in 80 Toys, and Linus Carp was hit with an umbrella. So, very good congratulations to all of the nominees. Do you want me to read it? Yeah? Okay, so our first runner-up, we have Parasocial Activity. So we'll give this to you at the end. I'll give that to you, Richard. Our second runner-up is Man or Bear. Congratulations. And our winner, I feel very happy to announce, is Capitalism, 3 gays try to fix the economy.
Thank you. Oh my God. Jesus Christ, I really did not expect that with the list of nominations. I really love making work with these guys. They are the light in my life, and I love it. We went through so many trials and tribulations to get this show made, as you can maybe tell. And we had like a very short turnaround to turn what was a super dancey show into like, what if there was a desk? And what if we all sat down? But yeah, thank you so much.
Should we thank some people?
Yeah, we should thank some people.
So the people we want to thank who have made this show possible, number one is Johnny at the Pleasance and Cara from the Leicester Curve, who gave us the Edinburgh National Partnership, without which we wouldn't be able to do this today. Then we also want to thank all the people who made this show possible along the way since we've been making it in 2024. The London Bubble Theatre Company, who have championed us since the very, very beginning. Lauren Tranter, our Associate Director. Tom Younger, who has been a rock in tech. And to Ollie Fuller, who is our operator, who is an absolute dreamboat, and we love him. Anyone else that we want to thank?
We just want to shout out all the finance bros. Steve Bartlett, Elon Musk, everyone who's just inspired us to make the show. And shout out to like the humor of Year 9 boys, because that is the vibe of the show. Yeah, I think that's all I want to say.
No, I think that's great.
I love my boys, boy theatre till I die.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And moving straight on, we come to the Philippa Braganza Award, one that is very close to my heart, given in memory of wonderful young actor Philippa Braganza, who performed several solo shows here on the Fringe, but one that was particularly memorable called Angels, about the women warriors of Kurdistan at the time. And then later that year, after winning awards for that performance, sadly lost her life in Australia later that year. So in honour of her, Karen Corin of the Gilded Balloon instituted the Philippa Braganza Award together with Philippa's family. And now here is Karen and Shelley Middleton to present the shortlist and the award for 2026.
Actress Philippa Braganza's life and career was short, but had an enormous impact. Philippa was hardly out of drama college, when she came to the Gilded Balloon to perform Echoes by Henry Naylor, a double-hander with Felicity Holbrook. I got to know her through Henry Naylor's plays, which we produced at the Gilded Balloon. Gilded Balloon toured Henry's play Echoes in New York, Prague, and Australia. Philippa was a beautiful, sensitive, and talented woman, and in Echoes she portrayed a young Shahidi schoolgirl with warmth, humanity, and intelligence. It was an astonishing and brave performance which reduced audiences to gales of laughter 1 minute and tears the next. In the midst of the Echoes tour, she collaborated again with Naylor, premiere the monologue Angels at Gilded Balloon. She received universal critical and public acclaim. Again, it was a sensitive and very real performance of a young student who forsook her studies to take up arms. She regularly attained standing ovations. In the autumn of 2016, at the end of the Echoes tour in Australia, Philippa died. It was devastating for someone with so much talent and a wonderful future ahead of her. I felt it was important to keep her spirit alive by creating this award for an emerging talent and the same values as Philippa had. Philippa was an immensely charismatic and likeable person, both on stage and off. Philippa lit up every room she entered. Always generous of spirit, she believed in compassionate politics, being a tireless campaigner for the environment, the homeless, and refugees. Philippa's talent were extraordinary. She was an actress, singer, musician, and strong activist. She played Echoes over 100 times, and Angel only 28 times. She was an emerging star. She demonstrated an astonishing ability, constantly striving to refine and improve her performances. Every night her portrayal was fresh, every night it was bettered. Her last appearance was at the Brisbane Festival and Melbourne. They were extraordinary, flawless, and deeply, deeply moving. She left her audience with smiles and tears. All who saw her devastating performance in Echoes and Angel will never forget her. Artists like Philippa must be applauded and encouraged, and given the opportunity to develop their talents. And I do hope that this award can go some way to making that happen. So I'd really like to thank the judges involved in looking at all the eligible shows. And thanks particularly to Shelley Middleton for the passion for theatre and this award. Shelley is now going to write out the shortlist and we'll announce the winner.
Hello. It's a huge honour to announce our shortlist. So I will do it in alphabetical order and say a little word about each show. So we have Abigail Weinstock Giraffe. Giraffe is a moving and funny exploration of autism, its diagnosis, its misdiagnosis, and the impact on women who often go under the radar. Abigail beautifully delivers a performance that is engaging, bright, and although self-deprecating, is hugely relatable to many, I feel. Bryony Martha, Parasocial Activity. This is a dark comedy that explores the excitement, the thrill, and the dangers of relationship made within the digital age. Bryony presents a powerful performance, jumping between characters with ease and building a world in which we find empathy and hope for those lost in a web of cables and data centers. Farah Ashraf, Pink Rabbit. This is a play about self-discovery. However, it's also a deeply poetic reflection on heritage and belonging, and Farah brings a magnetic and energetic performance as she navigates between mother and daughter, faith and freedom, and obedience and rebellion. Leticia Rodriguez, 116 grams, a play to lose weight. This is a performative experiment about discipline, control, and the absurd demands placed on women's body. Leticia performs a full workout on stage, bless her, and becomes an emblem of female empowerment and shows us that taking space and being unapologetically who we are in our bodies can be the true meaning of self-love. Marianne Jaar Landsvrouw. Landsvrouw is a beautiful expression of culture, angst, and frustration, where we learn about the hardships that are felt by those who find themselves far from their lineage and home. And Marianne blends theatre, poetry, music, and dance with an ease that makes you unable to ignore her and her message. Martha Knight, the king of all birds. This expands and explores the story of the phenomenon of aerial photos being displayed in Irish homes in the 60s. And with a blend of mythology, technology, and storytelling, Martha performs a powerfully poetic performance that takes you on an emotional flight across the ages. And Verona Verbakel, OnlyFans for Therapy. This is a dark solo show about trauma, accountability, and an exploration into abuse, revenge, and survival. And it's delivered with a powerful presence of Verona watching us watch her as she confronts her trauma. The result is a performance that leaves you questioning your complicity as an audience member and as a bystander, and presents a real opportunity for us to reflect on our actions, our compassion, and our humanity towards one another.
An amazing shortlist, I'm sure you'll all agree. And the winner is...
Veronica Verbakel, OnlyFans for Therapy.
Hopefully you're still here.
I am going to use my phone, I'm so sorry. And I'm so happy that I wore leopard today. We're matching. Wow. Thank you to the Filipa Bragança team. Thank you also to my final director, and for the patience with which you have watched the show. Sorry, I'm trembling. I don't think that victims of abuse want that much. We just want our reality confirmed, and the reality that unfortunately a lot of people experience is abuse, and society likes to silence that experience for some reason. So thank you for acknowledging that reality. When I was scouting for a venue, a big venue said that they thought it was a gripping performance, but they were questioning whether we would have enough ticket sales because it doesn't have a happy ending. In my opinion, it does have a happy ending because I'm standing here and I'm performing the show. But thank you. But that brings me to a question, I guess, to the Fringe, because when I first performed here when I was 17, it was with a show called Teenage Riot, and we were throwing tomatoes onto the audience members. It was a show by Unturned Good. It was as crazy as it sounds. Now, in my opinion, the Fringe has always been this festival for artist risk takers where bold and raw shows are rewarded for their risk-taking. And so my question is, could we please keep it that way? Because if not, we risk the Disneyfication of shows, that it becomes an elitist festival where only happy-go-lucky shows get platformed because it's too expensive for the grimy performers to be here. And don't get me wrong, I love an uplifting show. But we just need shows to make our reality be more clear after watching it. So thank you to the many artists who are here that I got to watch during this run, and for putting my reality in perspective. lastly, not really lastly, before lastly, I'd like to honor this award in name of my sister. We've been through things that no one should go through, and I'm very lucky that she was by my side. And thank you. And now really lastly, and then I'll shut up, I would like to end with this, that if you're struggling with mental health, please reach out to get professional help. I know that friends and family are sometimes helpful, but we're all just lacking people, so please reach out. And regardless of your title here, there is nothing more important than the continuation of you on this earth. So thank you for being here, and thank you to the Fringe.
And interesting that from a Belgian perspective, that touches on the same, not exactly the same, but a variation on the same theme as 100 Voices that we celebrated earlier, what it is to be in care, why people find themselves in care, and what that experience can be like for people. We move on, and it is time, actually, with that reference to mental health at the end of the speech there, for the mental health, sorry, I'm just going to get its title exactly right, Mental Health Foundation Fringe Award, MHFFA. This is an award which is very close to all of our hearts on the Scotsman for all sorts of reasons, and I'm delighted to welcome Gail Oldham and Lee Nifton from the Mental Health Foundation to read their shortlist and announce their winner.
Hello, everyone. I'm always absolutely in awe of performers when I stand up here. It's terrifying. We're here from the Mental Health Foundation to present this award, but before we get to the exciting bit, I want to say just a few words that I'm going to read. The arts have been a huge part of our work for over 20 years. We lead the annual Scottish Mental Health Arts Festival, which takes place this October. It's a Scotland-wide multi-arts festival which aims to explore how the arts can help to prevent mental health problems and support people to lead mentally healthier lives. We know from experience just how powerful the arts can be as a way to open up conversation about mental health and to share stories and experiences in a way that is engaging and entertaining, but can also challenge people to think differently. And we've seen over and over again, very often at the Fringe, the impact that seeing your own experience perhaps reflected on stage can have, and how it can be a way to make people feel less alone in their experiences. Over the last years, we've seen a huge increase in the amount of people making work about mental health. And that has been particularly evident at the Fringe, so much so that 7 years ago, we decided to create this award to celebrate and support the best mental health show at the Fringe. And we've awarded some really incredible shows over the years and had them come to our festival to present their work as well. The last 4 years, this award has been supported by the Cornwell Charitable Trust, and this is in memory of arts journalist Tim Cornwell. Tim worked as an arts correspondent for the Scotsman and had been on the judging panel for this award as well. We are incredibly grateful to the Foundation for their support of this award, which allows us to offer a cash prize to the winner and also more flexible support to bring the show to our festival as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to Andrew Eaton-Lewis, who organises this award every year, and also many other things at the Fringe, so thank you, Andrew. And before I finish up, I also want to recognise in this space that while making and sharing work about mental health is incredibly important, we know it can often be a really difficult and confronting process for people as well, and just how exhausting it can be. So I want to check in. I hope that everyone's doing okay at this stage in the Fringe. I know it's a lot. I also want to highlight that we do have a resource for people making performances about mental health called Performing Anxiety. It's available on our website. And just a huge thank you to everybody making work about mental health this year. I was lucky to see much of this work and was so impressed by the range and the scale. I'm now going to pass over to Lee, our director at the Mental Health Foundation, to announce the shortlist and the award.
Thank you, Gail. I don't usually get invited to do this part, and there's a reason. It's because I'm usually a bit of a disaster with these things. And I won't be reading off my phone either, because I dropped it under the seats and can't get it. So I'm hoping it's my own digital detox today. So very briefly, it's not about me, it's about the winners here. But I was just reflecting, about 20 years ago, we started our work in the arts and mental health to bring mental health really out of the shadows and into the mainstream. And although we still do our own mental health festival, which reaches tens of thousands of people, it's more important that, or as important, that something as huge and exciting as important as Edinburgh really does bring mental health into and across its performance, and we draw it out and recognise that. And it was 20 years ago, Joyce was actually interviewing, and Tim Cornwall, and other journalists were asking why it was important, but now we don't need to make that case, I don't think, anymore. There was a lot of amazing work, and 6 shows were shortlisted, and they are Bogwitch at the Traverse Theatre, Parasocial Activity at the Pleasance, Giraffe at the Pleasance, The End of the World, the Gilded Balloon, Watercolour at the Traverse, and Huge Ass Mindset at the Gilded Balloon. And I know from the large number of people that have been reviewing a whole set of wider shows that the standard and the emotion and the importance of these shows has been huge, it's been enormous. But those 6 were the ones we decided to shortlist. Our winner is a show that challenges the shame of childhood sexual abuse, has been described as brave, as powerful, as safe, as healing, and as funny. It's the first time that the award has gone to a comedy show, so we'd like to present our award to Frankie McNair for Huge Ass Mindset.
Oh, what the hell? Thank you so much. This is such a massive surprise. I'm crying already. I'm so tired. I didn't have anything prepared. I want to give a massive thank you to Soho Theatre. Thank you so much. I have never worked with a team that is so supportive and just so kind and just so friendly. You've made this season better than I ever could have imagined. Massive thank you so much to Gilded Balloon. Thank you so much for just taking a chance on an Australian who swears way too much. Thank you so much. I want to thank my manager, Chris, and Michelle for just gassing me up every time I want to quit comedy and not letting me. My show, it's about letting go of the shame around going through childhood sexual assault and sexual assault. But it's also, for me, it's about community, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of the amazing people in my life. All of the people, all of the 10 comedians I'm currently sharing a house with, being able to go home at 1 a.m. and walk into a kitchen and just have a group of people to lament with and celebrate with. I just think that if you have those beautiful people in your life, hold them so dear. And my mum and my brother for just seeing me through all of this stuff. I know I'm crying now. My show is a comedy. It's really fun. And thank you so much for this award. It really means the world. I'm very sorry if there's anyone I forgot to thank. I'm so tired. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And now And finally, the award that fosters and nourishes our connection with that amazing Australian performance scene. The Holden Street Theatre Awards, which enable some shows from the Fringe every year, one show probably, every year, to go to the second biggest Fringe in the world. If Brighton is the third biggest, then the one in South Australia, Adelaide, is the second biggest. And here to announce the shortlist and winner for that award this year are Richard Jordan and Chris Snow for the Edinburgh Fringe Society. Thank you very much.
Hello again. It's a double from me, and that's because Chris and I are the much less glamorous understudies for Martha Lott, who is artistic director of Holden Street. She's really sorry she can't be here, but she's in rehearsal at the minute for the Adam Rapp play The Sound Inside in Australia. And then the entire judging team had flown out rather inconveniently yesterday. So Martha said, could I possibly just come along and say a few words about this award and how it began? And it began in 19 years ago, and it actually began very close to where we're all sitting right now, because it began in Arthur's Bar at the Pleasance. And I was summoned to a meeting with a wonderful New York producer, which some of you will know in the room. He was a great friend to Jackie and to Joyce, and many of us called Paul Lucas. If you didn't know him, Paul was this wonderful, colourful ball of loveliness. He would walk in, and the first thing he'd say is, what do you need? How can I help you? And Martha, and sadly Paul passed away quite suddenly in 2020. And when we talk about Fringe spirit, it really is about often the work, but it's also the people that make a Fringe. And we know every year we come, we remember so many things, and so many of those people stay indelibly connected with us. And so Martha had sat down and said, I've got an idea. I want to try and create an award that links the two Fringes a little closer together. Nothing like that's happening. I want to do it for new work and new writing, because that's the focus of my particular venue in Adelaide. What do you think? Well, we both thought that was a fantastic idea. And out of that little acorn has grown into an award that has seen companies like Shit Theatre go on to win it. Alex Hill, who won it a couple of years ago for I Stuck a Flare Up My Arse for England. And that show has, earlier this year, gone on to do some performances in the West End. The first winner of that award was the wonderful actor and writer Matthew Zajac. He wrote a show called Taylor of Inverness. Roll on full circle, and in September that show plays the Lyceum here in Edinburgh. If you've not seen it, it's brilliant. Go and give it a look. So the award's grown considerably since then. This year there is 20 nominations, so there's quite a lot of them. But again, as we were saying, there's 4,000 plus shows here, so we really only have scratched the tip of the iceberg in the awards that her and her team have chosen. I'm going to just hand you over to Chris to say a few words first. Oh, just before I do that, because she'll kill me otherwise to tell me, because she told me to say I had to thank the sponsors. And the sponsors are State Government of South Australia and Create SA, Weslow Holdings, K1 Wines by Jeff Hardy and Cooper's Brewery. So whoever wins this award is going to have a pretty great time in Adelaide. The award pays for the whole show to come to Adelaide as well. So it's a really nice award to win, and it's in February. So, you know, it's a nice time to be down in Adelaide in the sunshine. And sometimes you have to go into a show. Chris, I'm going to hand over. There's been a long connection with the award to the Fringe Society. So I know Chris is going to say a few words about that and the Fringe.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. I won't keep you long, but thank you so much for having me. It's lovely to be here, and congratulations to all of the award nominees and winners today across the Fringe Fest and the other awards at the Fringe. I'm actually understudying Tony, our chief exec, today. He is currently in the midst of a meeting with the council to advocate for proper financial support for this festival. So I'm sorry that you've got me instead, his trusty sidekick, but I am here and pleased to be. So yeah, a huge thanks to the Fringe Fest team, Joyce, Andrew, all of you. It's such an important set of awards, these, and they really are a global sort of mark of excellence that I see referred to all over the world when I get to travel for this amazing job. And another huge congratulations to everyone who took part in the festival this year. It feels like we're coming to the end of the last weekend, and it's just been such a remarkable year. Our 79th, and of course next year is the 80th anniversary of the festival, so we're excited to look to the future, but a huge congratulations to all the artists in the room today. And Adelaide, of course, is the second largest fringe, as we've said, and I'm very lucky to get to go and see the team and spend some time there most years, and looking forward to going back. And Holden Street really is a kind of crucial new writing venue in the heart of it. So very excited to be here today. I'll pass you back to Richard, who's going to read a long list of nominations. Hold your applause until the end, please, and then we will open this envelope, which we do not know what's inside. Richard.
Thanks, Chris. All I can say is that I'm just really glad that both Chris and I have got our glasses on, so we won't do a Warren Beatty or Faye Dunaway Oscars moment, hopefully. Okay, so here we go. The nominations for the 2026 Holden Street Adelaide Fringe Award are Alone, Shotgunned, The Bridge, Chloe Natasha, Bigfoot Ripped My Dog in Half, I Saw It, Annie Wobbler Revisited, This Is Not America, Evita 2, The Pitch, Amnesia, For Dolores, A Pebble in the Road, Youth in Flames, Jitters, You and Me and Whoever Comes Next, Man or Bear, The Distance, The Rail Kyle McCarran, The Plot, Around the World in 80 Toys, and Parasocial Activity. And what a great lineup as well, because it shows everyone from established artists here right the way to newcomers. So a big round of applause, please, for all the nominees. And Chris, over to you.
Not the most entertaining double act at the Fringe, are we, Richard? Right, very, very pleased to, if I can open the envelope. Here we go, here we go. I hope I can read this. Oh my gosh, hang on, right. And the winner of the 2026 Holden Street Theatre Adelaide Award is Amnesia. That's written and performed by Kimberly Hart Simpson, produced by Queenie Miller for Hat Trick Productions, United Artists, Sherman Theatre and Pleasance. Welcome to the stage.
Tiny. Hello everyone, let me just dip this down. Sorry, I sound like I've been smoking 50 Benson and Hedges per day. It's the end of the Fringe. Yeah, I might cry. So, thank you so much. This means the will. Sorry. The will to us. Sorry, I've just started my period as well, so it's not helping. The second one in the 1 month as well, that's not fair. This is not for me. This is for people that have been touched with dementia and small towns that keep getting forgotten and ridiculed in the press and media. It's from my hometown of Rhyl, and for the people that believed in it, which is Pleasance, Sherman, Theatre Clwyd, Queen Miller for Hat Trick. If I say it's everyone then, is that right? Yeah. Also, my sponsors as well, thank you, Care ADHD and Pario Holidays, which is in North Wales. Without your support, I could not be here. Kate Wasserberg, the director, and then everybody on team, like Cara, lighting, Dove for sound, and Michael, who is the tech, and he is absolutely amazing. Yeah, this means the absolute world. So I'm doing one Sinead O'Connor single, tear down my face. This an hour ago I was announced as the BBC Comedy Collective for this year. So this past hour has been the most batshit hour of my life. But thank you so much, everyone, and well done to everyone here. I know this helps, but it really doesn't matter because the fact that we're here is the main thing. And yeah, I hope you all have a lovely rest after this. I'm going to Ibiza straight away. Classic.
Andrew Eaton just said he wants to just come on and say a few words. So let's welcome him onto the stage.
Hi, so I'm Andrew. I edit the Edinburgh Festival's coverage for the Scotsman. Just before Joyce says her closing remarks, I just wanted to say a couple of things really quickly. Firstly, without Joyce, I don't think we could do these awards. Without her... Without her incredible hosting and presentational skills, but also without her incredible depth of knowledge and her experience and her passion for this festival. And the second thing I wanted to say is that it's a testament to Joyce's dedication to this festival and to this work that she is doing this, this award ceremony today on her birthday. Um,
So nice. But the nicest of all is to have the privilege of seeing and being here with all the wonderful performers and the shows that we've been talking about today. That very last one, actually, we've been talking a lot about care today, and that very last one is set in a care home in Rill, where that wonderful central character that Kimberly plays and wrote is a care worker in one of those left behind towns, you know, once popular seaside resort, now not without its problems, but a town that she absolutely loves as much as she loves the people she cares for. Once again, voice of a group of people in Britain, care workers, that we don't hear from enough, being given a voice here on the Edinburgh Fringe. And that's what makes me love and be proud of this Fringe, that at its best, it gives that voice to people who so desperately need it. So thank you to all the artists who are part of that, and to all of our wonderful winners and award winners today. There's always thanks, of course, again at the end of our ceremony. We have to thank the Pleasance once again. What a team here! Without them, we just could not do this. And wonderful that they won that last award there. Our sponsors, once again, without whom nothing. Everyone at the Scotsman for all the support, logistical, you know, the editing support that we have, and all the rest of it. Our arts editor, Roger Cox, Andrew Eaton-Lewis, who is our festival editor, and of course, our wonderful team of reviewers, without whom none of this could happen at all. They don't get paid a huge amount. They all absolutely love theatre, and that is why they knock their pans out every festival, running around 100 shows, maybe not 100, but certainly 50, and making these awards work. So thank you to all of that team. You're all wonderful, and without you, we couldn't do much. Of course, the biggest thank you, though, has to go to all of the performers, the producers, the creators, and all of the support staff, technical staff, musicians, everyone who bring their genius and their efforts together to make the shows that we see on this Fringe. It's a situation, an audience, a structure that is not easy for anyone. Coming here represents taking a big chance and trying to do some work that you care about in a situation that can be grueling, can be brilliant, but is always unpredictable. So let's have a big round of applause for everyone who does that, who does the work and who comes here. As we've heard today, this Fringe is capable and often does trace, track, express, and wonderfully explore some of the biggest themes facing our world today. And it is a thrilling experience to be in touch with that. But I think this year there's one particularly powerful message, and that is that it really matters that there are still people who want to, long to, come together with other human beings in the same room and look those problems in the eye and laugh and cry and share both the humour and the tragedy of the situations that we face. There are people who still care enough to do that, and this room is full of people who in one way or another are connected with the wonderful business of making the shows that make them want to do that. This is more important in the world now, probably, than it has ever been. So difficult though it is, I'm delighted to see so many people coming together here in Edinburgh again to make the work, to celebrate the work, to push the work out to the widest public possible, and to take it forward into the future. Thank you all so much. It's been a great privilege to be here once again, and with any luck, fingers crossed, and all the gods willing, we'll be back again to celebrate the Fringe Firsts and the Scotsman Fringe Awards for 2027, a year from now, same place, same time. Thank you all very much, and safe home. Just two little practical things. Could all the winners gather at the front here just to have a photograph taken by our wonderful photographer? And also there are drinks in Arthur's Bar. This is very important. Drinks in Arthur's Bar round the back for all those who have got time to come and have one. Thank you.